Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of our Simple Fund 360 Education Week. My name is Norman. I'm the training lead here at BGL, and I'll be your host for today, where we're going to be exploring bank data and the number of ways that you can get your bank data into your Simple Fund 360. Because if you weren't aware, there are more than one way to automate. Now, before we get into the contents, we just have to do a few little housekeeping things. Now, the first thing is questions. And if you have any questions, we do highly encourage questions. Please send that through to us using the Q&A panel in your Zoom application. We'll be answering questions throughout the session. And I've also brought along a bunch of my friends with me from BGL to help ensure that all the questions are answered. We have members from our client success team here, our support team, a training team, a data service team, and even the Simple Fund 360 product team. So a lot of knowledge here available to you at your fingertips, and please do use it. Also, we do have time at the end of the session, maybe the last 10 minutes or so, to answer any questions that you might have. So definitely do check that out. Also, for the recordings, the webinar is recording, much like all the webinars that we are running throughout the week. So if you have missed any any webinars throughout the week, or you just want to rewatch some of the webinars you have attended this week, head to our community. It's free to use, and you'll be able to access it from community.bglcorp.com. So definitely head over there. If you weren't aware what the community is, it's a forum for users such as yourselves, professionals, to get in touch with other users and to spread knowledge, to start different conversation threads, but also to watch any webinars that we've hosted previously. So you'll be able to see this webinar again recorded and available on the BGL community. Now, bank data, when we talk about bank data, we're referring to methods where you can import and even automate transactional data coming into your Simple Fund 360 system. Now, with the nature of SMSFs, and especially with more reporting obligations that's been introduced, it's almost necessary that you have some sort of bank data feed or method to get transactions into your funds in a reliable and even time efficient manner. And that's really the benefit of using bank data. As you can see there's a list of the solutions that we're actually covering today. We're going to cover things like the BGL Bank Data Service, Smart Docs, fast data entry, and CSV imports. So different features that you have available in Simple Fund 360 that you can utilize, and we'll talk about them in a bit more detail a little bit later. But again, going on to why you would get data feeds. Again, I just mentioned with reporting obligations and needing to have funds up to date to make decisions, it's again almost necessary that you do have some sort of data feed active. Data feeds are efficient. You get transactions sometimes overnight. You get bulk imports of transactions into your system all at once without you having to wait for statements from your clients or having to record things after the fact. Also, it's accurate. So you can get data straight from the source. You get data straight from banks being imported into your systems. And also it's a money and a time saver. So again, as I mentioned before, you don't have to wait for your clients for statements or things being delivered to you. They're almost automated into your system. And the more that you do automate things, the more that things are coded for you. And instead of you having to do more of the data entry, all you have to do is review the data and ensure that you're happy with how it looks. So definitely do use data feeds. Now, throughout today's session, if you're one of the clients that aren't currently using any form of data feeds, Again, we're going to go through a number of different options that are available to you and some of the options that you can use right away. So as I go through those methods, I want you to think about the funds that you have and also how these methods can be introduced to those funds. And similarly, for those that are already using data feeds, you might find some of these options that I'm talking about today more appropriate for some of the funds that you have, and some of these features might be more appropriate for other funds as well. So this session is really about educating you on the features that you have available and empowering you with the knowledge that you need to get the most out of the product. So the first one we're going to talk about today is the Beigel Bank Data Service. Now, we're going to start with this one because it is the most efficient way of obtaining bank data in Simple Fund 360. What it does essentially is, let's say the fund makes a transaction to the bank account. Instead of, again, you waiting for statements or your clients to let you know that that's happened, that information is going to be imported into your funds overnight. Now, with the BGL Bank Data Service in particular, as opposed to the other features that we're talking about today, this one is an add-on to the program. So if you're interested, you want to talk more about it, or if you want to sign up for this feature, please get in touch with our sales team at BGL and we'll get you on board, or we'll give a bit more information on the actual service itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the program and I'm going to talk about the setup process for the BGL Bank Data Service. Okay, sorry about that. So I've got the fund opened up in front of me now. So hopefully everyone can see Simple Fund 360. Now, I've got the fund. There's already data in it, opening balances. Now, I want to set up a data feed. Now, to set up a data feed for the BGL Bank Data Service, from the left-hand menu, I'm going to head over to Connect. And from Connect, I'm going to head over to the feed management screen. Okay. Now, from feed management, you'll be able to see your bank or feed options below. The first one I'm going to talk about is the bank feeds. Now, beside the bank feeds on the right-hand side, you'll have the button to set up the bank feed. And when you click on the setup feed button, you see the options for the bank account for the fund. So it'll ask you for the account name, the bank details, BSB, and account number. Now, once you enter those details, which I've done previously, you'll have your bank listed here, but also you'll have your feed provider. Now, with your feed provider here, you would select the BGL Bank Data Service. Now, once you select the BGL Bank Data Service, it will give you a couple of forms that you can prepare. You've got the print form and the print letter button. The print form will give you access to the authority form. And this is vital for the BGL Bank Data Service. This is a form that is going to be signed by the account holders. So these will generally be the trustees for the super fund. But the form itself is an authority form that gives permission for the banks to send the transactional data into your Simple Fund 360. Now, what you would do is you would get them to sign it. And below, if you look at the bottom, you've got the address for this signed form. And what you might notice is it's not being addressed to the bank itself, but it's telling you to send it to us at BGL. Now, once you send this form to us at BGL, what we'll do is we'll get in contact with the bank for you. Now, if you look at the address, you can either post it to us or you can even email it to us. So yes, you can actually get it signed by your clients, scan it, and also email it to us once it's been signed. Also, what's available to you is the print letter. And under the print letter, you've got a letter template that we've got available to you that'll be paired with the form itself, if you like, to be sent to your clients. And your clients can read this, get a bit more information about what the form is that they're about to sign. Okay. Now, once you've printed out the form and once you've saved that screen, the Bank Data Service option will look a little bit different. You will see this feed status now having something a little bit different. So at the moment, it does say awaiting signature. Now, the purpose of the feed status is to update, to give you information on how the feed is progressing. And that's our message to you. So at the moment, it says awaiting signature. So that's us saying that we're waiting for you to get that authority form signed and to send it to us with the signed document. Now, once we receive the documents at BGL, our team, our data services team, will send it to the bank, get in touch with the bank and get them to process that assigned authority form. Once we do send it to the bank, we'll update the feed status to let you know that that has happened. So we'll update it generally to say that it's sent to bank. Ideally, what you're looking for is for that feed status to say feed operating. Once it says feed operating, that means that the feed is going to start importing transactions into your Simple Fund 360. So overnight, what you should see is if your clients have made a transaction to their bank account, you should see transactions in your transaction screen. Now, turnaround time. Turnaround time is important because obviously you need to know how long it's going to take for transactions to start coming through. Now, it generally takes, we say, about a couple of weeks or 10 to 15 business days for that form to be authorized by the bank. So the bank to actually, do what they need to do on their side to get the feed operating. Okay, so from when you sign the authority form, you send it to us and then we send it to the banks. It takes about 2 weeks for the bank to then process that form and get the feed up and running. Now, also, that's also important to note because of the data that you do get. Not every bank account is going to support historical transactions. Okay, so if you want historical transactions, they might not be available for the bank that you're looking to sign up for this bank feed. Now, we do have an article, and my colleague has posted an article in the chat about supported banks. So you can head over to that article to see what banks are supported under the bank feed, but also which ones will provide historical information as well. So have that on hand with you, because when you go through your funds, you'll be able to identify which ones are going to be applicable for the bank data feed. Now, for transactions and historical transactions, you get transactions from the day the bank approves the authority form onwards. So for those banks that don't provide historical information, from that day before, you have to enter those transactions in another method. And the other methods that I'll go through today are applicable for that. So you can definitely use those other methods that I'll be talking about to enter in those transactions as well. Now, I'll also mention with the bank feed itself. Now, let's say that you have 1,000 funds on your Simple Fund 360. You don't necessarily have to have every single fund in your Simple Fund 360 on the bank data feed. You might pick, you do have the option of picking and choosing which funds that you want to utilize the BGL Bank Data Service for. So you might find that there are a handful of funds that have a lot of transactions coming through in their bank account. So you might choose only those funds to have the BGL Bank Data Service for. Okay, so important thing to note. So you do have that flexibility. And then for those other funds that might have 1 or 2 transactions occurring, you might decide to use some of the other methods that we'll be talking about today. Now we'll go through some of the other methods as well. Again, it's not just the BGL Bank Data Service available to you, but there are other methods. Now, the other method we're going to talk about today is the CSV upload. Now, the CSV bank upload allows you to upload a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet, if you want to aware of what CSV files are, into Simple Fund 360. So again, if you don't have the bank data feed or you're trying to fill in transactions and with another method, this is another method that's available to you. Now, I'll show you an example of what a CSV file looks like if you weren't aware. And here I've got one. And again, as I mentioned before, it's essentially an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, and we can import this into the program. So I'm going to flip over to Simple Fund 360 again. And we're going to go import that CSV file. You can go ahead and import it from accounting from the left-hand menu. And we can head over to the Smart Matching screen. Now, under the Smart Matching screen, you'll have a few options there, but in particular, we've got the Import CSV option. Now, the way this works is click on Import CSV. You've got your fund name and you've got the bank accounts that you're importing this CSV for. And below here, you've got the option to select the CSV file. So you can either drag and drop your file from your computer into that field here, or alternatively, you can click on this field here and select the file from your computer. Actually, I've selected the wrong file. Let's do that again. There's the CSV file. Now, once you select the CSV file, you'll see all the columns in that CSV file selected. You've got the date field column, you've got the amounts column, and you've got the description column. Also at the bottom here, you've got the preview of the transaction. So that way you can ensure that the columns you have selected are corresponding with the right information in the CSV file itself. Okay, so if I check this transaction preview, okay, I've got the bank account and I've got it relating to accounting fees, and I want to ensure that the bank is going to be credited in this transaction. Now, once I'm happy with it, I can click on import and the transactions will now show up in my transaction screen. So if I head over to my transaction screen, I can now see those transactions there. Now, our next method is our fast data entry method. Okay, now this is similar to the CSV file method, but instead you get a spreadsheet within the software itself that will allow you to copy and paste items into that spreadsheet. Okay, so if you don't have a spreadsheet created, maybe you have another document, you can copy and paste from that document into the spreadsheet within Simple Fund 360. Or perhaps you might find it easier to fill in the spreadsheet within Simple Fund 360 instead of actually going into the transaction screen to enter transactions. This is another, I guess, way of entering transactions into the software. Now, to use the fast data entry from within the software, you're heading back into accounting from the left-hand menu, and you're going into Smart Matching. Okay. Now, in the Smart Matching screen, you're going to click on the Data Entry / Import Bank Statement option. So I'll clear this. I just did this previously, but we'll clear this again. Now, this is the fast data entry screen. Now, what you can do is, again, as I mentioned before, you can fill in information. So instead of you picking a CSV file, maybe you don't have one, you can start entering this spreadsheet, putting the dates, putting the debit or credit, and the description of it. But as I mentioned before, you can copy and paste into this. So if I head over to my CSV file, I can actually grab all these items from this screen. I can click Control-C, go back into Simple Fund 360, and paste all those items in there as well. Okay, so again, another alternative to using CSV files, you've got a spreadsheet that you can enter information in. You can also copy and paste information into as well. And then when you're happy with it, you can click on Create, and that will import the transactions into Simple Fund 360. Now, another method, which a really good method that we've introduced and we've created for the software, is our Smart Docs option. And this is another alternative. Let's say that you don't have CSV files or Excel spreadsheets. Maybe you have a picture of the bank statement itself, or you have a PDF of the bank statement itself. With Smart Docs, you can actually import that picture or that PDF into Simplify 360. And our Smart Docs feature actually reads the file and grabs all the data from it and imports it. Now you'll find the Smart Docs feature from within the Smart Matching screen as well. So I'm going to head back into Simplify 360 to show you how this works. Now to use the Smart Docs feature from within Simplify 360, we're heading into, from the left-hand menu, into Accounting and Smart Matching. Now within the Smart Matching screen, we're going to click on Data Entry, Import Bank Statements again. Okay, now I'll clear the screen again. But from the left-hand, bottom left-hand corner, you'll see an option for Drop or Browse for Files. Now with the Drop and Browse for Files, you can select the PDF from your computer to be selected here. Now here's an example of a PDF that I've got on my computer. So this is the Westpac Choice PDF that I've got available to me, and I'm going to import this. This is a PDF. This is not a spreadsheet. If I highlight it, you can see that it is a PDF file. So back into Simplify 360, I'm going to click on the Drop or Browse for Files. From my computer, I'm going to select the Westpac statements. And then once it's been selected, I can click on the Confirm button. Now, once I click on Confirm, it's going to analyze the document. It's going to pull up that document, and you can see it's read the information for that document. Okay, so it's been able to pull out the date, the amount, and the time. Now, for this example, just ignore these because this is dated in a different financial year. But as long as you're importing transactions for the current year that you're processing, to be able to read that as well. Now, alternatively, if you haven't got a scanned document or scanned a copy of the PDF, or you've got the PDF saved on your computer, you do have the option of using your phone as well. Now, if you look, we're actually going to exit the screen and restart it again, just to show you this option. But if you look beside this drag and drop function, you've also got a little QR code button beside it. Now, if you click on the QR option beside it instead, click on the QR, you'll see a QR code in the middle of your screen. Now, if you take out your smartphone or your device, you open up the camera on your smartphone and you scan it. Actually, it's disappeared. It looks like somebody might have done it instead, but that's okay. If you open that up, it will open up a screen on your computer where you can either take a photo of the actual bank statement itself, or you can select a photo of the bank statement from your computer. Okay, so what I'm going to do on my side is I'm going to take a photo of the actual bank statement itself using my device. And once I've taken that photo, it's going to upload it. And you can see there in real time, it's analyzing the documents and it's uploading it. So that's my screenshot. You can see that it's it might not be as clear as screenshots because I'm using my phone. You can see that it's not that clear because I'm taking the screenshot off a computer screen, but it's still being able to read all those transactions there. So you don't necessarily have to have a scanner or anything like that. Everyone, I would like to think everyone has a smartphone available to them. So all you need is your smartphone, take a picture of it, and the system will be able to read those transactions. Okay, so just to remind you where the QR code is, if you look at the bottom left-hand side, you'll see the drop or browse button available to you. But beside that, you've got a little QR code button there that you can use. Now, once you click on the QR code, it will pop up a QR code in screen, allowing you to scan it and upload a document or take a photo of the actual document itself. Okay, so a really powerful tool that we've created to hopefully make your life a lot easier. Okay. Now, that goes through all the features that we've covered today. So hopefully, again, you've found some tools that are available to you that will be easier to use. Now, for the next few minutes, we will take questions. So definitely send your questions through. But in the meantime, as you send your questions, we'll go through, I guess, some of the topics that we're covering this week. Now, especially today, we're covering a lot of data feeds. So in today's sessions, at about 1 o'clock today, or the next couple of hours, we'll cover a session on shared data packs. But there is also a session on smart matching, what to do when transactions are actually imported into the system. So I highly recommend that you do attend that one especially, but even sign up for these ones as well. You get an email when those recordings are available. So definitely do sign up to them. We do highly encourage that. In the meantime, thank you for your time attending. We do hope that this was beneficial for you. But again, we'll end it there and hope to see you at a future BGL event.